All right, Cutthroat Island, let's go.
Guarded by those who never grow old.
And your grandfather was the only one that came back.
We best get these out. Dog can't be far behind.
Yes, right. That's the others. I'll start hauling us to the entrance.
Right. Wait. All right, I'm going. But no tricks. And hurry.
Hello and welcome to the worst movie ever made, an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind to find the worst movie ever made. I'm your host, Chris Hoffman. I'm joined by my co-host and fellow mad scientist, Rob Screech and Bob Hassick. Hey guys, how are you and why are we doing this?
You know, I'm slightly aroused just listening to the audio of that on air without any visual context.
Yeah, without the visual, maybe.
Sounds like, I don't know if you ever seen clips from that Pirates of the Caribbean porn movie that was made in like
No,
the 2000s.
but I know what you're talking. I saw it in Blockbuster, and I'll never forget.
Basically, it's a porn. It's a porn that has like a Lord of the Rings budget.
Yeah,
and it's fucking insane. But I guess Cutthroat Island also had a Lord of the Rings kind of budget, which we'll get into later about why we're doing this. But I guess at this point, I will turn it over to Bob, who will explain Cutthroat Island as succinctly as possible. So without further ado, here's Bob Explains.
Let's get a little groovy and have Bob explain the movie. So for your consideration, here's Bob's alliteration.
I feel pressured to do the alliteration right away, so I will.
Okay.
This is a painful pirate production proves pathetic.
it's too true.
Yeah.
All right, so I will succinctly, because the story is wrapped up in the opening 10 minutes and the closing like 5. A pirate family, brothers specifically, they want to plunder a treasure at Cutthroat Island, and only 3 of the brothers were trusted with the parts of the map. The 4th brother, who was not trusted, decides to kill the others in efforts to get the treasure. However, the daughter of one of those brothers gets there first and eventually beats everybody miraculously.
Yeah.
That's right.
Pretty progressive for 1995.
Progressive, huh?
Women, you know.
I did say miraculously.
True. All right, so that's the piece of shit that we're gonna have to focus on today. I'm not sure how people on YouTube feel about it. I can't imagine they enjoyed it. I don't know that anyone enjoyed it, but why don't we throw it to YouTube anyway, Rob, and you can tell us exactly what they said.
You're gonna be gravely disappointed. The worst movie ever made presents. YouTube comments made by people who clearly have daddy issues.
My father!
I was in disbelief, so I got a lot, so I'm going to read them fast. Number 1, I have no idea why this film was so disliked. I found it one of the most entertaining pirate adventure films out there, a good Friday night flick. Next comment, this is considered one of the biggest box office bombs of all time, but I've always thought it was a great adventure film. Now, I have a problem with that because they say it's considered one of the most box office bombs. Like, objectively, it is, like, adjusted for inflation, one of the biggest box office bombs. Yeah. Next comment, one of the best pirate films ever. Next comment, I think Cutthroat Island's a great film. I'll always love it. I'll always think Matthew Modine's performance in it is superb. Seriously. Oh, yeah. Next comment, love this super underrated gem of the high seas. Gina is one of the best action stars ever, but gets no credit for roles like The Long Kiss Goodnight. Next comment, shame this movie never got the recognition it deserved. As a 12-year-old, I recall seeing the teaser poster for this and thinking, cool. Next comment. I have never seen a trailer with this many action sequences in such a short amount of time. Gina Davis is looking pretty good as well. Smiling emoji. Going to have to check this out someday. So they didn't even see it. They saw a poster when they were a kid and they're like, okay. It just stayed in their memory, in their mind's eye for all this time. And then the last one's a doozy. I remember my mother dropping me and a friend off at the theater because we were going to see this. As kids, we were excited knowing we were going to see this action-packed pirate movie. That was until we got closer to the building. On our way towards the front door, we were halted in our tracks by a very intriguing sight. There, in front of us, encased behind yellowing, scuffed, and scratched plexiglass, was the poster for yet another film being shown that night. 7. Needless to say, we opted for the latter, and the rest is history, but I do believe I'll see this one now.
I can't believe that those were put out in the same year.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the YouTubers said that Gina Davis was good looking, right? I interpreted that correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, so does that qualify as us kind of giving her credit for being attractive?
You're not a Seinfeld fan, so the analogy
No.
I'm about to make is probably might get lost on you, but I'll explain it. There's an episode where Jerry is really attracted to this one woman. I forget her name because it's been a while since I've done like my Seinfeld binge. But she only looks attractive at certain angles under certain lighting. And then
That's right.
And then like he's like about to kiss her and then like the light's hitting her from a different angle and he's like absolutely disgusted. I had similar feelings to Jerry. Like
about Gina?
Yeah.
Okay.
In this film. Yes.
So are you giving her like half credit?
Yeah.
Bob, you're the teacher. You giving her half credit?
Yeah, I am actually.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
like,
I'm
so
giving her no
if-
credit.
If it was check plus, check minus, she's in the check territory.
She said
maybe a banana sticker too.
She said C for every little bubble on this exam, and none of the answers were C for me. So now that the podcast has given her some credit, I'm going to go ahead and say every horrible thing I thought of about her later. But for now, test number 1, the worst of its kind.
Salami. Carrot.
The worst of its kind.
Look, I think she's traditionally attractive, right? Like that's why men like her, right? Traditionally
Sure.
attractive. Okay, just gonna say that. The Long Kiss Goodnight with Gina Davis, the YouTuber mentioned, and Samuel L. Jackson, a 68. I've heard it's good. I haven't seen it. Is it good?
I've heard it's good. I have not seen it.
Maybe we should check it out. Romancing the Stone, Michael Davis and Kathy Turner, an 86.
Okay.
Check this out. Cliffhanger with Stallone and Lithgow. Where do you find that one?
www.theworstmovieevermade.com. Click the buttons, you'll find it.
Find our episode making fun of that one. It's a great episode, I think. The 68 there, too. Deep Blue Sea, Samuel L. Jackson again, and Saffron Burrows, a 60.
Yep.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Depp, Knightley, and Bloom, an 80. So that gives us a pretty stunning average of 72.4. That's kind of high. Cutthroat Island, what do you guys think that it came in with on Rotten Tomatoes?
Honestly, based on the comments, I feel like even though it was a massive flop, there were other things at play. It seems to be a fan favorite amongst people that did see it and celebrate it. So I'm gonna 55. I'm gonna go high on this, and I think that's in line with just generally how big movies like that are received. Like polarizing, but I think more people liked it than didn't. Believe it or not.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the flop status and say 15.
Okay, so Rob is closer. It's a 40.
Oh wow.
Which I think is undeserving. But it's a negative 32.4, worst of its kind, but really not the worst score I've ever seen, which is surprising. Maybe it's because of the budget. Test number 2, ain't that a pitch?
Excuse me, madame. May I have a little kiss, please? A little kiss, please. Come on. Come on. Whoop.
Ain't that a bitch?
Can I go last?
I'll go first. I haven't gone first in a couple weeks. I feel.
Sure.
So me, you, Bob, then Chris.
Yeah.
Is that what we're gonna do? All right.
Put Bob back in the 2 ditch.
All right.
Yeah.
In 1668, everybody got that stank. All that unwashed flesh walking the plank. Morgan Adams lays down the law while clutching the scalp of her paw. quite the swashbuckling adventure, if I'm being frank.
Wow.
Right. Good.
Hmm.
All right. Here's mine. There once was a time when pirate movies were bad. Honestly, starting to see that with most 90s movies, I might add. Gina journeys to the jungle for jewels. Dim-witted Davis delivers disheveled duels. Holy shit, she scalped her dad.
All right. So Bob wins, but go ahead, Chris.
I mean, that was great. Should have been a smaller investment by the creditor. Could have also benefited from a better editor. But the worst thing by far is clearly the star because Gina Davis looks like the Predator.
Shit.
Team win.
Yeah, team win 5.
I loved it all. I agree.
Yeah, they were all good. They were all good.
Team 5,
Awesome.
but Bob
Team
had
5.
Bob had excessive alliteration that actually succinctly explained the plot, and then Chris took some pretty good cheap shots. So I'm okay with both of those.
Cool. All right, team win.
Yeah.
5-star. Beautiful. Let's start to test number 3, the most offensive.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I feel like that was me.
All of you got the most important thing.
To be as offensive as possible.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Okay. These are the most offensive moments in the movie. How's that for succinct? Here's number 5. We're counting down, or up, if you will, to number 1. Number 5. Whore hates Morgan's homosexual hints. And what I mean by that is that there's a little bit of homophobia here, where Morgan is like, "Come with me" to a prostitute, and the prostitute thinks that she is offering her money for sex. So the homosexuality there, she was offended by. When really Gina Davis's Morgan just wanted to steal her outfit so that she can look like a prostitute to trick her uncle, who apparently doesn't know what she looks like. Number 4. Firing on fine townfolk. So this is also early in the movie. The British Navy decides to fire on the town to try to hit Morgan and Willie with a cannonball, but instead they destroy half of the town, killing I don't know how many people.
Wanton destruction of small business, even in
there you
the
go.
pirate days. Yeah.
Yes.
Damn.
Even
That's a
the
through line.
early Jamaican settlement.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. All right, the next two kind of pair together, but number 3, putting a pocket knife in a person's posterior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When bidding for the slave, I'm just borrowing the term used in the movie, Willie at this point is being sold as a slave in the town, square, I guess.
Yeah.
And Morgan sticks a knife into the other bidders behind to make her point. She ends up winning the bid. Number 2, putting a pointy, piercing poker in a person's penis.
Yeah.
This was done twice.
It was.
Where Morgan got what she wanted by poking a person's penis with a knife.
Yeah.
Not very nice. But number 1, most offensive of all, in my opinion, of course I'm going to ask for mentions after this, is our first clip of the day, and this one is called Willie.
What is your name again? Chopper, Squitter?
Oh, Trotter, Your Excellency.
Miss Mandy Ricketts, standing alone. Her father brings a fortune in investments to the colony. Dance with her.
She's rather homely, sir.
And you are not.
Damn.
There you are, you see, too late. Some other fellow has taken the plunge.
There's every reason why I should be alone tonight, being a stranger here. But a woman with grace, such as yours, should never be unattended. Huh? My name is Shaw. William Shaw. But my friends call me Willie.
Yeah, the homely comment, "You're not homely,"
yeah,
joke was pretty rough. But Willie, I don't know. I thought that was really funny. But what I thought of though just now actually is when he says a woman with grace like you should never be unattended, and she does the laugh. She goes, and I thought it'd be really funny if she turned to him and it's the guy from Miami Connection, and he's like, you guys want to mention anything?
That was my mention, actually, was the homely thing. So you got me.
Oh, okay.
How about I'm alliterating on the spot here.
Nice. You know what? You're pretty good at that flashbang alliteration.
Damaging daddy's dermis with a dull. What's a D word for knife?
Dagger.
Dagger. Damaging daddy's dermis with a dull dagger. She scalped her dad. She scalped her fucking dad.
She scalped her father. True. Per his request.
Per his request. Yeah.
Yes.
Which we will get into. We'll leave it at that and throw it now to Rob's ad read.
Sure.
Go down to Marie Callender's. Get me a big bowl. Pie, some ice cream on it. Good. Put some on your head. Your tongue would slap your brains out trying to get to it. Interested? Sure.
Rob's ad read.
Today's episode of The Worst Movie Ever Made is brought to you by Blackbeard's Pegleggers, the only pirate-themed strip club that prominently features amputees in their main rotation. You've seen Two Guys, One Stump, but have you seen these scallywags dry hump? It's a sight for sore eye patches, that's for sure, but make sure you hit up the ATM because gold doubloons won't fit in these G-strings. Tuesday nights are half-off pot roast night, too. So if you've got a hankering for some willikers, hang out with the pillagers and feast your eyes on the most precious of booties and chests to ever traverse the seven seas. Get pegged at Blackbeard's Pegleggers.
Got it. You're demented, but I love your writing style, Rob.
Wow.
I really do.
Get pegged.
Get pegged.
That's a millennial sentiment if I've ever heard one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Gen Z's into, but I in a lot of the joke rooms where I pitch articles and stuff, pegging is always a main talking point.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
All right, let's start to test number 4, the worst dialogue.
Yeah. Where did it go?
Bad dialogue may include something like,
he's in there every night. This damn gang selling that stupid cocaine.
All right, let's start with number
5.
This is Bad Dog.
The odd thing is I enjoyed it. I never gave up. Never gave in. I regret it's finished. Give my love to Harry when you see him.
It all sounds like porn when you're not watching it.
It really does.
It's over, Morgan. You planning to fight me with that little stick?
No, Uncle. With this. Bad dog.
I'm gonna have to clean that audio up in post, I think. That's loud.
I love that body like dummy thing that goes flying out the window. That looks nothing like a person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? The bad guy's name is Dog, which is bad enough on its own, and I think it's solely so that she can say bad dog at the end, which is a terrible way to get rid of your bad guy. The whole thing was just cheese. You planning on fighting me with that stick? That sounded like porn.
Yeah. all the chain rattling and moaning too, like the belabored moaning.
That or it's Cartman like flipping through pages. Yeah. Ringing bells. Number
4.
Oh, this is unbelievable already. The cheese.
In the boat, under the seedy thing.
I knew you'd wind up here at some point. That being the cheese, and you being the rat.
Thing is, man, I'm basically a shallow man.
And no doctor. Am I wrong?
No, not really. I'm surprised you let me fiddle with your hip.
And no gentleman either.
I wanted to be. The thing is, I was born poor. My only choice was to become a thief and a liar.
There's more choices than that.
Then since you lie so easily, and since you are so shallow, I shall lie you in a shallow grave. Mr. Blair!
Have you no charity, ma'am?
I brim with charity, Mr. Shaw. I am charity's very soul.
Oh.
Success, Mr. Blair. My slave has found Cutthroat Island. Mark it on the chart. And since I am so charitable, I will maroon you on a rock the size of this table instead of splattering your brains across my bulkhead, as you deserve. Let's take him below.
What is that style of reading?
I don't know.
I do not understand Gina Davis in this movie at all. It's so monotone and delivered so boringly, but it's also terrible dialogue. It's no wonder this movie flopped. It's the first person that saw it ran out of the theater screaming to everyone, "Don't go in, don't spend your money on this," because they didn't give a shit, and neither should you. The cheese, that being the cheese, I guess is the map. You being the rat, and then he says, basically, I'm a shallow man. I was poor, so I had no choice but to be a thief and a liar, which maybe that should have been in the most offensive, but it made it to our worst dialogue. So there you have it. Let's, unless you guys have anything you want to add to that one.
No, it's just, there's other things you could do if you're poor, like work.
Yeah.
And try.
Try. All right, let's throw it to number 3. Bob, I know you previously mentioned this one in maybe a trailer that we will be releasing hopefully tomorrow in Whose Pleasure?
Grateful to you, Mr. Scully. My pleasure. But if you ever are disloyal to me the way you were to Morgan, it'll be my pleasure to cook you alive and eat you. Now get out of my eyes.
Now get out of my eyes.
Get out of my eyes.
Every word of that was just pure garbage. All right, let's keep it rolling. We'll throw it to number 2. This is Crooked Man.
Yes, the Neil Young song.
She makes for Crooked Man's passage.
Yeah, she hopes to tear up our bottom on the coral.
Looks like we're in for a blow. Should we attack her now?
No. We'll go around the islands in the dark. We'll ambush her on the other side at daybreak. You are clever, Morgan, but I will catch you. Uncle Dog will have his day.
Speaking of pegging, getting their bottoms torn up.
Uncle Dog will have his day. All right. Not going to lie to you, another contender for the worst dialogue ends up in the worst acting because it's really poorly acted.
Yeah.
So it could have been this, number 1, or it could have been number 1 for the worst acting. So listen for that. But we're going with number...
Daddy. Sorry.
Drum roll.
Preempted. Yeah.
That was perfect.
You know what? Fuck it.
It's not what you're thinking. This is Wash.
Good morning, madame. As you can see, I'm young, in fine health. I know horsemanship. I write a fine hand.
I have it on authority that you are fluent in Latin.
Ah, Latin, the Romance language. I can speak Latin like I was born in the ancient Senate. A regular Cicero. Why, do you have children who wish to learn? I'd make a first-class teacher in a tasteful country house. I can do most arithmetic, though I do confess to a weakness in long division.
Stop your chatter and say something Latinish.
Here we go.
Pochissima mulier es et pedes levare volo.
What did you say?
You're a very beautiful woman. I'd like to wash your feet.
You like to wash things, do you? Start with your mouth.
Ooh.
Oh, you've been lit up, cup.
Ooh, you like to wash things, do you?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Let's throw it over to Bob and test number 5, the worst production.
Yeah. Where is... Okay. Sorry.
Oh my God!
Worst production.
When a studio puts out a production this bad, they're dead meat.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Yeah.
All right, this might answer some questions for Chris and or Rob. My tagline for this is nepotism.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna say what I originally was like watching the movie, and I'm like, these action scenes. Let me rephrase that. These quote unquote action scenes or quote unquote fight scenes were horrible. The choreography was bad. The script was bad. But when I started researching, I found out the director cast his wife as the lead, which isn't how movies in 1995 were supposed to work. Like, that was like a 1930s move, like, let's cast, my wife or my girlfriend as the lead or as a bit actress, whatever.
Yeah.
And to be fair, there were several problems with the production. There were many script rewrites. There was casting and recasting, and there was budget problems and actors doing their own stunts and film wasted. But if your lead actor or actress can't carry the film, it's likely going to flop. And like, she was out of her element. She was a comedic actress before this. She was in Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
And she was fine in that. And she didn't have to carry that movie because Michael Keaton did that and Winona Ryder did that. But her character in this movie is inconsistent. Her line delivery is flat.
Bad.
It's
and
terrible.
she has a wavering accent, if you didn't notice that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she sucked. Lead actress is the problem. Nepotism was the reason. That's my worst production.
Now, before you made the Beetlejuice connection, which I now that you say, I could see her face now in Beetlejuice, and you were mentioning how she's out of her element because there was an action movie and she was a comedian. Could you imagine if they cast Michael Keaton for the lead role as a woman? That would have fucking ruled, dude.
It would have been way better. I agree.
Like wearing the fishnets and like pulling up like the giant dress, like showing some leg to distract a pirate, and then like shooting him with a revolver. That'd be perfect.
You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts? Yeah. So that's my input.
God, yeah. I actually did know that fact, Bob. So I'm glad it's not in fact or no fact. Cousin Todd, friend of the pod, sent me a video on Cutthroat Island as soon as he found out that we were doing that movie. It was like a 12-minute video, and it started to kind of delve into some facty stuff about the movie.
Yeah.
So I really only watched a few minutes of it before I turned it off. So Cousin Todd, friend of the pod, if you're listening, and you are wondering why I didn't talk about the entire thing, it's because I was afraid it was going to ruin fact or no fact. But what I got of it was super interesting, so I'm definitely going to go back and watch the rest after the pod. I'll send you guys a video too. Just some YouTube guy like breaking down why it was such a flop, and it's super interesting. But
all right.
Yeah, don't cast your wife as the lead.
Yeah. Fair.
Test number 6, the worst acting.
I love this. I love this.
Sorry, wrong button. Let me...
Bob's gonna give you a
Rob, you ever thought about?
in fact or no fact.
No.
Wait. The worst acting.
No.
Oh, did I?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bumpers are all messed up today. I'm sorry.
Do you even know how to act?
How can you act like that?
Shut up!
It's the worst acting.
Chris gave me all these extra clips to overplay
I did.
throughout the episode to be annoying.
I did.
It messed up my soundboard game.
I'm sorry, but they're really funny. But Bob already overplayed them on the trailer, so check that out tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, so the worst acting, it is what it sounds like. Here's the one that I mentioned before. Our number one for worst dialogue could have been this. But instead, it's number 1 for the worst acting. This is number 1. A shave.
Oh, what did I do in my life to get you?
Dog will pay for this, I swear.
You leave dog be.
I will fly his bloody head as my banner.
You leave dog. Wilderly word. There'll be time for him. Find your Uncle Mordecai. Take my crew and make them yours.
Father, don't talk now. I'll get you back to the ship.
I'll not see my ship again. The Morning Star is yours.
No, don't say that. I've patched you with worse.
Get your knife. Shave my head.
What?
Shave my head. Once in your life, Morgan. Do as I tell you.
He's dying and he's Bajili School.
Bajili School.
Yeah, so she shaves his head to find a map written backwards and tattoo, I think, and then she literally cuts the scalp of his head off so that she has the map. Here is number 2. It's all Latin.
Sorry, it's all Latin, right?
Yeah.
I can't.
Why not?
It's Latin.
Then I will have it translated at once. There must be someone who knows Latin at Port Royal. My Uncle Mordecai holds a second piece at Spitalfield.
There's more than one piece.
Actually, there are 3.
Where's the third?
Dog Brown has it.
Oh, well, it's practically in our pocket.
We'll fight him for it. We'll join with Mordecai. 2 ships against 1. You should like them odds. Ask yourselves, what would Harry have done? This is our chance to seek some real fortune and to pay back Dog what we owe him. What could be better than that?
Mr. Blair, you are quartermaster. You decide.
Oh my God.
2 days is all I need. 1 to Port Royal, 1 to Spitalfield.
If Harry picked you, I'll give you a chance.
Let any man who would challenge me draw that.
Ooh, foreshadowing.
Let any man who would challenge me draw that. I think I delivered it with as much energy as she did.
Yeah.
All right. Last clip of the day, unless Rob wants to hammer us with some more of those dumb clips I sent him.
We'll see.
This is number 3. Doubloons.
This is yours, men. Every last doubloon. No one ever fought harder for anything. Mr. Glasspool will divide it into equal shares for us. You're all rich men now. You're free to go your separate ways. You could buy a little cottage in Bermuda and drink chamomile tea on the porch.
Chamomile.
On the other hand, we could do what we were born to do. Stay together and ride the early trades all the way to Madagascar. The best pirating waters in the world.
She's so
Well?
bad.
What do you say? Shall we add to this pile here on the deck?
No.
I'm gonna live off the fat of the land.
Glasspool? What say you?
Okay.
It's just that it is such a large decision to make in such a small amount of time.
Aye.
Mr. Blair?
Well, I'd like to, Morgan, but it's just... always wanted to do a bit of farming.
Farming?
He was fantasizing about the alfalfa sprouts and petting the bunnies so hard their heads collapse.
Maybe a handful of worms.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else needs to be said? Gina Davis was awful in this fucking movie. That's why I really concentrated on her. And, everybody else, it's one of those movies, we've said it a million times on this podcast so far since we have, like, I don't know, 100,000 episodes per 10 seasons. What have we done? 10 seasons, 100,000 episodes?
Season
So we've done this,
87 right now, yeah.
Yeah, we've done this a million times. But this is one of those movies where nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
We've said it a million times. I know, but this is one of those movies
It's
where
the
nobody gives
adventure
a
of a lifetime and nobody wants to be there, is
Yeah.
how I would put it.
Yeah.
Is that fact? Is that not a fact? I don't know. Let's find out. In fact or no fact?
All right, I'm going to hit the right button this time.
Bob's going to give you a...
Rob, you ever thought about?
In fact or no fact?
All right.
So I realize I have not been titling my fact or no fact segment like I used to.
You know what? It made me sad, Bob, but I didn't want to. Yeah, I didn't want to give you too much guff about it.
No, you can give me all the guff you want. Guff? Is that okay? You want to give me guff? Give me guff.
That's a Simpsons reference, Chris.
Guff.
No, because he says he doesn't
the
take
right
guff from nobody, and he said guff, and he's like, I meant to say shit, and then they all just beat the shit out of him for saying a lame word like guff.
Oh, I don't know. I heard Jay say it once. So.
Yeah, Jay got it from The Simpsons because he's like, that's the only funny thing that ever happened in The Simpsons ever, and I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. We've had that conversation several times.
All right, so I feel bad because I actually had titles for everything, and I just forgot to say them. So this is for Cutthroat Island. I just called this "Cut My Throat."
Yes,
because this was
for sure
to watch.
Yeah.
The fact or no fact segment is I'm gonna read some facts, and you're gonna say which one's a lie. Now this is going. I keep finding this same theme, and I have a few facts I'm gonna throw into the catch-all because they're fun.
Okay.
But here's the one that was, in my opinion, fun. The most fun. There were 12 actors who were approached for being Shaw, the one that Matthew Modine acted. 12 actors who turned it down
before Matthew Modine.
Before Matthew Modine. And I'm gonna read you 5 of them, and one of them is a lie. And then after the game is over, I'll read you the other.
Oh, beautiful. Other 7?
And man, if you say Jamie Kennedy, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
He was too young for this, trust me.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So all the following actors turned down the role of Shaw before Matthew Modine was cast, partially due to his experience as a fencer, by the way. He was a fencer, and that's why one of the reasons they cast him.
Okay.
But here's the other ones. Ready? Michael Douglas, Tom Cruise, Keanu Reeves, Brad Pitt, Russell Crowe.
Ooh.
Which one was actually not approached for this role?
Tough because they are all either well established or like on that trajectory to like inconceivable amounts of fame. Because like Keanu Reeves was still like coming off like Bill and Ted, but that was like, I don't think Speed was out yet.
Same year.
Yeah, so Speed, but so that might make him.
And to think how relevant he still is, it's kind of dope.
Yeah, well, if you look back 20 years, Keanu Reeves was like a laughingstock. Everybody fucking made fun of him all the time, and he turns out he's a fucking badass and a cool dude. Michael Douglas. Because Falling Down came out in like 94, and that was such a serious fucking movie. I don't think he'd start swashbuckling and scallywagging like immediately after that. So that's my first choice, but let's go through this. Tom Cruise. I mean, I'm going off memory because we can't Google search because this is a game. But I would say he was already doing Mission Impossible at that point, like 93, 94, 95, like around that area. Or if he wasn't, he was in preparation to do that. And knowing how psychotic he is when he prepares for his roles, I would say he definitely would have turned it down. Whether or not he was offered, though, is the question. Keanu Reeves, once again, possible because he was still kind of doing goofy shit before like really ramping up for like to be like the action guy we know. And Russell Crowe, without knowing his full filmography, most everything I've seen him in is incredibly serious. Like State of Play, in that other movie.
Master and Commander.
Yeah.
That's definitely what you're talking about, not Gladiator, right?
Yeah.
Romper
Master
Stomper.
Blaster. Yeah, Master Blaster from Thunderdome. I'm gonna say Michael Douglas is like the other ones I could see that because they are all kind of like action adventure adjacent, but like doing more serious or like bigger blockbusters around the same time. So I'd say they'd be offered because they are on that radar. They're within the wheelhouse. If this was a successful movie, it would have been good for their careers if they, if it didn't completely tank on the box office. But Michael Douglas is the sore thumb, and so is Russell Crowe actually, because Russell Crowe takes himself seriously, but Michael Douglas has established himself as a serious actor at that point. I'm gonna go though with Michael Douglas because Russell Crowe was still quite young at that point in time. He may have his agent may have tossed it to him and been like, "Hey, this might be something worth checking out." But Michael Douglas is just like I feel like he was just doing more serious shit at that point, and they wouldn't even consider asking him. So I'm gonna say Michael Douglas is my guess as the one who was not approached.
Okay. I am between Pitt and Crow. And I think I'm going to go with Pitt.
All right, so these actors weren't only approached, they were not just
Begged.
approached, they were offered. They were offered the role.
Okay.
No, so
And
they
they
didn't have
turned
to
it down.
audition?
Right. They were like,
wow,
the part is yours if you want it. And they're
Sign
like,
here. Yeah.
All 12?
No, thank you. All 12.
Yeah.
This was a casting nightmare. So Michael Douglas was offered the role.
Oh, fuck you. All right.
Tom Cruise was offered the role. Keanu Reeves was offered the role. And Russell Crowe was offered the role. So Chris wins. Brad Pitt was not offered the role. But here are some other ones that were offered the role. Liam Neeson, Jeff Bridges, Ralph Fiennes, Charlie Sheen, Michael Keaton, which is funny you mentioned him, Tim Robbins, Daniel Day-Lewis, and Gabriel Byrne.
Gabriel Byrne from The Usual Suspects.
Yes. They were all offered the role, and no thanks. And Matthew Modine ended up taking the role.
How does Modine get the... I don't even know how he got the 12th offer. I feel like there were like 30 other guys that they should have gotten an offer before Matthew Modine, but
Isn't Daniel Day-Lewis like such an excellent method actor that he makes insane levels of method acting look like regular acting because he commits to his didn't he think it was Abraham?
This is only 1995. He still was only just recently doing American productions at that point.
Oh, that's fair.
Right.
He was almost all Irish at that point. And Modine just came off of Full Metal Jacket. Like,
all right.
Go
ahead.
When Modine got the role, the way he would tell his parents so they'd be proud of him was oh, you know who turned this down, right? Just so he could be put in the same sphere.
He listed them all, and they were so 12 other people were offered the role.
Michael Douglas turned this down, and so I'm just as good as Michael Douglas, Mom, Dad, so you're proud of me.
Most of the people I read still only were barely recognizable by name. Tom Cruise is the only one that was probably a bit Tom Cruise and Michael Douglas probably the only big names.
Yeah,
everyone else was very new still.
But they all
Michael Keaton was still.
But they all kind of had things cooking around the same time, which was if they had not broken through yet, they were making their move at that same time that this was coming out.
Yes,
so that's what made it tricky. That's my excuse.
So since we mentioned him, and I'm just too curious, I can't pass this opportunity up. Have you seen The Gangs of New York?
Yes.
Question to both of you. What do you think of Daniel Day-Lewis in that movie?
Insane.
Mm-hmm.
As in great?
Great and insane, yes.
Okay. Over the top, but only a select number of people in history could be that over the top and still be good. He's overacting, but it works really well. When I saw him in that, I was fucking blown away. But
I'll see.
It's not the best movie I've ever seen. But.
Everything he's in, I didn't see Lincoln, but everything else I've seen him in over the top, but only he could do it.
I tried Lincoln and I got like an hour in and I was like, man, this just sucks. I don't know. It's just boring.
We watched the good Abraham Lincoln movie on this podcast.
Yeah, we did. Where did they find that,
yes,
Rob?
we did.
www.theworstmovieevermade.com, where we're talking, of course, about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, when he's riding a stagecoach engulfed in flames, and the vampire approaches him and he goes, "Give me the watch, Lincoln." There's nowhere to hide, Lincoln.
That happens. All right, let's throw it to the catch-all.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It appears that we've caught everything.
Oh my God!
It's all over.
Oh my God!
Let's all go home.
Oh my God!
Have you guys ever seen the video of the... oh, my battery's running low? What the fuck? Hey, am I still here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Weird. I'm plugged. I have the laptop plugged in, I'm pretty sure, but it's saying that my battery's low. Maybe I unplugged it in a millisecond. This is a very professional production, guys.
Yes, Chris totally isn't operating out of his basement. I'm totally not operating out of a coat closet, and Bob's totally not operating out of a guest room. This is a professional production, high budget. $100,000 per episode goes into it behind
Clearly.
the scenes. Yeah.
Which is why we have at least 100,000 listeners per episode.
Yes.
And 100,000 episodes. Okay, I'll go first because I have like 30 more than you guys do.
Yeah.
The death of Carolco, right?
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Because Carolco, the company that you see on like Terminator 2 with the big C that like winds back and forth.
This movie
I'm pretty sure this movie killed their studio after
it was their death rattle. Yeah.
Yeah, we did the movie. I think that sent them reeling, and then they tried to make this movie. If I'm remembering correctly, I feel like they fucking put out. I forget which movie it was. Carolco put out some terrible movie, and they were doing so poorly that they put all the rest of their money into this. It was like a mad gamble on this movie, and then this movie flopped and they died.
Yikes!
I just wish I did the research. I don't like to research, because fact or no fact. I don't want to cheat.
There was something else that was this production company was putting the money into or borrowed money. I think it was Showgirls. That's what it was.
Okay. Because I feel like they got a lot of the pirate costumes for this movie off of another or the movie that like flopped before this one. They had a bunch of pirate costumes for, and they used it for Cutthroat Island or something like that. I think I remember.
There weren't a lot of pirate movies this point in time. Like there was barely any.
So before Cutthroat Island, I just pulled it up. Showgirls was 1992.
There you go, Bob.
1995. Last of the Dogmen and Stargate.
Stargate actually did okay. They actually got a TV show spun off of that.
Got a massive cult following and like way too many intellectual properties in their franchise now. But I think Showgirls, you're probably right, Bob, was one that.
Yeah, Showgirls was also fun. That's one we're gonna have to do, guys.
I was in college. Exactly. Yes, I was in college when that came out, and of course, because we were 19-year-old college kids, were like, yes, we got to go see Showgirls in the theater. And we did. And by the time Showgirls was over, I was tired of boobs forever.
Scope just blew up when they were beta testing it.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't want to see any more. I'm tired of them. That's how bad that movie was.
Yeah.
All right, we got to do it. Isn't it the like the tall girl from Saved by the Bell?
Yes.
Yeah, Screech.
Yeah. I heard he went into porn, so maybe that's when they met Showgirl.
Screech was the boob-ruiner.
Come on, Screech.
Screech the boob-ruiner.
All right.
Cool.
After you, Bob.
I gotta dig deep here because so I did some research and found out that Jamaica was actually pretty white back then, and so that can't be my catch-all because of the dates. But I am gonna go back to a fact or no fact and say that at one point there were broken pipes in the production that caused raw sewage to pour into the water tank where the actors were supposed to swim, and
Holy shit!
they had to like either use that footage or ditch it. But either way, that was just disgusting.
That's
Wow.
Raw
horrifying.
sewage.
Just I basically just have some like logical inconsistencies or just things that took me out of the movie. When they're divvying up the treasure, she says everybody's gonna get an equal share. How could you possibly quantify that? They're all different currencies and in piles.
Everyone gets a
Does
goblet.
everyone-
If you don't
everybody
get a
gets-
goblet, you get 2 doubloons.
You
instead.
get, and for every 2 doubloons, you get 3 ruples and one halfpenny. It's I don't know how are they gonna divvy that shit up amongst that many people.
That's fair.
Bothered me.
That's a very fair point. Hey, the rich British guy, in the British military, the like
Yeah.
head honcho, he was later Balon Greyjoy in Game of Thrones. Just thought I'd throw that out there for the Game of Thrones fans.
Yeah.
Okay. I noticed that in one of the scenes when Matthew Modine was I forget what the rescue was, but they were throwing a candle back and forth that was lit.
Yeah.
Like there's no way.
Yeah.
You throw a lit candle at someone, it's gonna stay lit.
There's no
And it was
chance.
tossed.
Yeah.
It was tossed twice, and it stayed lit. And they lit some kind of firecracker or bomb or some shit. With
Yeah,
it.
they lit gunpowder.
That's it,
Modine's Willie undid the bottom cap of the gunpowder horn that the guy had, and he walked away and was drinking gunpowder the whole time. And then Modine dropped
Yeah.
the
Was
candle
it.
on
That
it.
was it.
Lit.
Dumb. The treasure map was on a scalp.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know much about skinning people, but I do know when you make a leather jacket or a wallet and you get the hide from a cow, it has to go through a pretty intense heat treating process. So
Yeah.
it doesn't further decompose or get gross. So you're telling me that she just cut
This
that
is a
off her
good point.
dad's head and stuffed it in her pocket all willy-nilly, and it wasn't just a pile of goo by the third act.
It's gross. I didn't
Right.
consider that.
I
thought
did, and
what
I was disgusted.
I thought it was really funny. What was the quartermaster's name or whatever of the ship? I can't remember his name, but they turned to him.
Shoot up your guy's name. Yeah.
I only learn the names of people I respect, so I don't know anybody's name in this movie.
I forget his name. Yeah, but he's
Well, anyway, they turned to him. He's like the guy guiding the ship or whatever. And he has a bunch of super fake looking face tattoos.
Yes.
The face tattoos were more laughable
henna.
than the tribals on Jim Carrey.
It was like a poking stick. It was like a poking stick tattoo on his
Yeah.
face.
Poking stick, yes.
Yeah, looked terrible.
So here's one. Matthew Modine was actually hit on the head by a falling barrel during that tavern escape scene. And the shot
I
was
saw
kept
him
in
get
the
hit in the head. I saw that. I wondered if that was intentional.
That was real. That was for real, and they kept it. They
It
kept
looked
it in the movie.
it looked like he really got hit in the head accidentally.
You know
How
what,
could
though?
they aim to hit him?
Yeah. But if you get beamed like that, it's almost insulting if they don't use that footage, because if you're knocked out
Yeah,
for a
for real.
week or laid out and concussed and stuff, you want to see that make the final cut no matter how good or bad it is, because
That's true.
I subjected myself to that. It better get some screen time.
That's fair.
I mentioned this earlier, I alluded to it, but they all have to smell so fucking awful.
Oh yeah.
Anything that's colonial times or pirate times is I guess if you're a product of your time, you're used to it, but if I were transported back and Gina Davis was actually I know you don't think she's attractive, but if I were pursuing her, I think just everybody's odor, including hers, would just turn me off from the entire situation. It's just muff cabbage and scurvy.
That would be muff kimchi at that point.
Muff kimchi.
That's disgusting. I hate myself for saying it. I really like the light, fancy music with a gruesome dead body prop in the background. They're just like going through the town, and there's like this body being picked apart by crows, and it's like do 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 do.
Oh, the harpsichord stuff.
Yeah, it's just like they just didn't understand what vibe they were trying to throw at us. You know.
Yeah.
So.
This feels like it should go into works production, so I'm just gonna say it quickly. Then I'll say my other one: random slow mo.
Oh God,
that's
in my catch-all too.
moves. That's really annoying. But also,
I've
the
got it too.
chandelier exploded. What the fuck? It was just candles.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows what the candles are made of?
Piggybacking off of Bob, there were the disproportionately large exploding boat jump. I feel like there's a trope in action movies, like it's like it's not quite 0 hour, but it's like the shit's about to hit the fan behind
it
you.
is.
You run and you jump and you get thrown like a rag doll, but you land in the water, so you're safe and everything's cool.
It's like in Con Air when Nicolas Cage like jumps through the window at the back door.
Yeah, well, that was cool though.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess it was kind of cool. I've seen so many bad movies since then. But yeah, they ruined that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like they like looked at each other, they held hands, they decided to jump. Instead of it like just running and jumping for your life, they it wasn't realistic at all either. How did Greyjoy or the rich like British military guy, how did he not know his own sergeant at arms name?
Yeah.
Like they work together every day, and the dude doesn't know Trotter's name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of ridiculous.
Recently promoted, maybe.
Possibly. All right, we'll go with that. You're giving it too much credit, Bob.
That's fine.
You got South Park. You got giving the movie too much credit, wanting destruction of small business. You might have a bingo by now.
Pipe
I'm
logic.
Gonna
give. Sewage pipe logic.
Yeah, true.
My catch-all is I'm gonna do two based on the one actor. He was the one who was the author who was like stowing away with the pirates.
Yeah.
Okay.
First of all, a homing pigeon are you kidding me?
No.
There's no way. But also, he said he wanted his book to be a bestseller. That term didn't exist until the mid 1800s. I looked it up.
Wow.
And this was the mid 1600s. So that was bullshit.
Okay, then I have one as well. I didn't write it down because I wasn't sure what year this was supposed to be. But the modern British flag wasn't around until 1801. And they're flying it in this movie.
Nice.
Sorry to skip ahead, Rob.
No, that's fine. I was just going to piggyback off of Bob's statement because this is the 17th century, so it's like mid 1600s, right? So 17th century. Yeah. I mean, the printing press was only invented in the 15th century. So to Bob's point, even if he did have like a widely acclaimed book, they probably would only make a couple hundred copies, historically speaking.
Yeah. Fair.
So we've sold tens of copies.
Holy shit!
I'm a New York Times bestseller. What's New York? Shut up. That's all I got.
You went myrrh.
You double myrrh. South Park strong with this one. Hey,
yes.
I mean that's all I got. I'll rip off you guys, but Bob made points about the author that I was gonna make, and then I decided to look up the printing press thing. So I'm pretty I'm out.
Okay, fair enough. Morgan has a scrape after 3 punches to the face.
Yes.
She gets punched in the face by a dude 3 times as hard as he can, and she's got a little scrape on her lip.
Yeah.
Just saying. This is like WWE logic.
Yeah.
At least they did that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
So Matthew Modine's character jumps from the boat to the what do you call that? Escape boat.
Yeah, but
and
he misses.
They scream, "Somebody stop that bastard!" But like, first of all, he's a slave. They had him locked up down in the bottom. He was supposed to be dead anyway. So like, someone stop him from jumping to his certain death. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I just didn't understand that. Like, why was he a bastard?
Yeah.
Should I go, Robin? You're just going to interject if you have another thing to.
Well, one thing it's awfully convenient that they always by happenstance walked by the thing that revealed the coordinates that was cryptically written on the map, and just so happened to notice it on a door jamb that had the same signage by coincidence.
Yeah, it is
entirely.
Convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To say the least. Why was Harry the only one who had to get a scalp tattoo out of the three brothers?
Because he's hardcore, man.
I had that. Like one brother was lucky to get a paper map, and he's like, "No, you're getting a tattoo in your fucking head."
Yeah.
And one had a doorstop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's. I'm just wondering, like if you were not the one. I just don't understand the logistics of using your head as the map. Like, even in best case scenario, the three brothers make up and they all go. Like, they have to like hollow out a hole about the size of his head so that he can stick it down and they can put the map and the doorstop. Like,
I guess if the logic, if they reconcile, they just shave his head and like hold the map up to his dome.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. They like hollow out a table. They put a hole where he could like put his head into
a
the
milking
table, like
table.
sitting under it.
I'm picturing it.
That
It's
makes
funny
sense,
because he can't see it at that time.
Yeah, he can't see it either.
They're like, no, just trust us. It's here. All right.
He's like, no, I've studied the scalp thousands of times.
He's got to lean back with a mirror on his hand and a mirror on his shoe, and like do the double reflection so he can see where it is.
It's so fucking dumb.
I forget the guy's name. The character, dog. He squeezed the spider and it bleeds red. No spiders bleed red.
Agreed.
No.
Yeah, that was really dumb. She can outrun horses even when she's impeded.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad. I didn't mention it, but that's totally true. The quicksand trope.
Yep, got that.
That was a big.
What
It was a
about
big deal in the '80s and apparently the mid '90s.
We're going to.
It's untrue to a very large degree. Most quicksand, I'll say 99.99% quicksand cannot engulf a whole human.
No.
Don't you just like stay still and just like do a swimming motion to get out of it too? Isn't that's how I prepared for it when I was a kid? Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Her uncle Mordecai is compliant even though she put the gun away.
Yeah.
She's like, hold the gun to him, and he's like, I'll do what you want. And then she just like puts it back. He has one too. And then he's just like continues to just do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
Well, it's family.
Fair.
All right, this is my last one. Lighting a torch with a sword and a bone. I'm gonna say that's the trope.
Fair.
All right. Yeah.
I wrote the tropes are wrong. They give away the lead. The comedy is flat. Terrible eel prop. She's not a convincing swordswoman.
Yeah.
Huge inexplicable explosions. Kind of Rob and Bob. I think you both kind of said that already. Far too long slow-mo sequences. They should be used sparingly and for emphasis only. Bob, to your credit.
Never. I mean, never.
Like never slow-mo ever?
Never. Not in
never
a movie.
slow-mo. What about The Matrix?
What about Hannibal when he like slits the guy's stomach open and like pushes him out the window with a noose around his neck and his guts just go like bah! That was pretty cool.
Yeah, we want to see every gut.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't prefer slow-mo in a movie.
All right.
Okay. I wrote they were hoping for Princess Bride, but they got mail order tavern wench instead. So Bob, to your credit, in the quicksand scene, which by the way was a Princess Bride rip. Why are they whispering?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They were all whispering. I didn't understand that.
All right. Bob doesn't like slow motion in movies. I don't like whispering in movies at all. Period. I don't think you need it.
Extremely ineffective bad guy.
Yeah.
The stick they used to fish him out of the quicksand was way too skinny.
Yeah.
Oh,
At least it wasn't a snake.
Skip around.
Completely clean after being buried in quicksand to his neck.
Right.
You're still on the quicksand.
Yeah, sorry. Why do pirates always give away their fortune in some cryptic messaging?
I don't know.
Like, who put the treasure there? Them, and then they decided to tattoo the location on their scalp,
Yeah.
a doorstop and a map?
You're not a big Family Guy fan, are you? Because I
No,
really
not
enjoy
really.
the early seasons. And one of the breakaway gags.
I was into it early, but then I
in one of the
like by
breakaway
season
gags,
4,
they're burying a treasure, and like one of the guys like, "Hey, instead of burying this treasure for someone to find several years from now, what if we use it to buy stuff? You know,
exactly
stuff we like." And the guy just pulls out 2 revolvers without hesitation and blows them off the screen.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, why? Like, what good is it if you're just going to bury it and then have
It's
somebody
not a
else
Roth
search for it?
IRA. It's just fucking like plates and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to haul all that treasure. Willie's
Yeah,
going to
it-
haul that treasure back. What the fuck are we
Yeah.
talking about here? How did
No
he
one's
swim
hauling
back
that treasure back.
through the cave entrance where there's a giant pool of water with that chest of gold?
Yeah.
That thing weighs what? A couple hundred pounds, and he's swimming with it?
Yeah, probably 500-600 pounds.
There's no chance. There's one whipped dude not saved by Morgan when she comes down to like let them all out of the pirate. There's just one guy by himself that's like up against the wall, like had been whipped a whole bunch, and she pays him no mind. Thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
Was the monkey disobedient? Because we got they like say that later in the movie, like it's super funny, and I didn't.
You know, they never. I blacked out the monkey because I thought it was gonna be like one of those like fun sidekicks that like gets them all in trouble. Like, oh, you little hooligan, and it never really materialized.
Yeah, they didn't flesh it out.
That was the comic relief.
Yeah,
you were supposed.
I think
to
you're
be
right.
laughing.
I think you're right. They'd both be dead on the rocks when they let go. Like a big wave comes in to like save them, but it's still only a couple of feet. They'd be
dead.
It would have thrown them into the rocks harder.
Yes. Yeah, right.
You have
Seriously.
the momentum of them dropping at like however many like cubic meters per second, and then the wave would smash them into the other rocks
straight
harder.
forward into the yeah. Luckily, all boats have zip lines and ropes to swing you wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
3-dagger was just dumb.
Yes.
Morgan with the double dragon, unnecessary front flip away from dog.
That's a new trope that we see a lot. Like those in Double Dragon, like they're running and like there's a punching. There's a hood of a car, they run and like you have the front flip off of it there's no tactical reason to be doing that.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation had one too.
Yes.
Why would Trotter leave the British military?
Brexit.
Oh yeah.
That happened around then, right?
That's it. That's it.
Mid-fight, climbing up the mast between Dog and Morgan.
Yeah.
Why? What did that look like? We didn't get to see them actually climbing it while fighting. I want to see that.
That's the same as a horror movie when you go upstairs to get away from the killer instead of outside.
Yeah, but imagine them like, okay, let's agree to just climb up the mast instead of swinging our swords at each other so we can stand up there and fight.
Yeah. Same thing.
Makes for a cool shot, but there's no logical reason for it.
Agreed. Cool boat explosion. I mean, there were cool explosions. I'll give them that. That's all I'm giving them. And then, yes, the monkey is cute, but it's so worm-fisted, I wrote. That's all I got.
Worm-fisted monkeys.
Monkey.
Let's throw it now to what we're watching.
Sure.
I got a letter for you.
A letter?
Yeah, it's a letter that talks about all the things we're watching now.
Give me the letter. Give me the damn letter now. Give me the letter. Give me the letter now.
Give me the damn letter.
Try again. Now.
All right.
All right, Robbie, you want to lead?
Sure. So, as I mentioned to you guys before we were on the air, my daughter's pre-K, her winter break was from like December 21st to January 8th. She went to school for like 3 days, and then now she has like a week off from snow because we have an unprecedented amount of snow in Nashville for like the first time in like 75 years. So I haven't really been watching anything long form because like I got to work my work schedule around the kids' schedule. But I found this rabbit hole on TikTok that took me to YouTube to this guy named Steve 1989 MRE Info, and he's this ex-military guy, I think a Marine or something, and he's going through all of the pre-packaged like freeze-dried like rations through history that military personnel ate while they were in the field. These are like half-hour long videos, and he's just opening the cans and like he eats hardtack from like the Civil War and doesn't get sick.
Holy shit.
So I'm just really impressed with like I don't know what it says about me. I'm really impressed with the packaging and his commitment to tracking these things down, and like he's eating some pretty rancid stuff, but it's if you're into history and like war history and like I'm really not I'm not fully into that kind of like genre of content delivery, but it's fascinating to see how like soldiers in like World War II like fed themselves. So I've been watching a lot of that. No series, nothing really. But
that's
I've
okay.
been watching a lot of
bad too.
MRE reviews. That's it. Sorry, I thought I heard my kid.
All right, I'll go. I'll keep in the rotation. I'm trying to get into How I Met Your Mother because Aaron really likes it, and it's super cheesy, and I'm having a hard time. But it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. So, maybe I'll have a gummy here or a beer there, and try harder.
I'll give you this.
Watch
it has
more.
It has a lot of fun playing with the stereotypical sitcom conventions, and it does a lot of fun fourth wall breaking.
I've seen some of that. Yep.
But the ending is wholly unsatisfying. I'll leave it at that. But like for example,
I kind of already know.
But
I kind of already know. But I don't want to guess because I don't want to have it ruined. But I think I already know. Like basically who the mom is supposed to be, and I don't think I'll be that person.
I'll give you the running jokes are hilarious though, because like Ted doesn't want to tell his kids in the flashbacks that they're smoking weed, so he always refers to it as eating a sandwich. And whenever it cuts to them in like their college dorms, they're just holding like 3-foot long hoagies and acting stoned, and like they never actually show them like in the iteration of like actually getting high, but they imply it heavily through sandwiches and stuff like that. The running jokes are kind of funny.
They've gotten me with some clever stuff. I won't lie. I'm not wholly against the show, so I'm still watching it. But the last thing I'll say is I'm also watching Explore, which is XSPLOOR. It's a kids show because my kids are just into it right now because my 5-year-old really loves road signs and construction and stuff. And this guy is the worst kids show host I've ever seen in my life.
Send me this after the show, Chris. I want to watch it.
Okay. You are going like you thought you were bored during Cutthroat Island. You just wait until you see this guy. He is so weird, so off-brand for a kid show. And what's really weird is you've seen Blippi.
Yeah.
Do you remember Nicky Notes?
Yes.
Okay, Nicky Notes is on Explorer as just himself, Kyle Bain, and he does songs for Explorer. It's very strange. I'll send it to you. Bob, go ahead.
Oh, I'm so intrigued. I don't want to see anything until I see what you're going to send us. Please send me that because I love obscure, dumb shit like that.
Okay, we'll do.
So I watched, based on a Conan O'Brien recommendation and Jordan Peele. It was a 1988 thriller called The Vanishing. And it's French language, so it was subtitled, and it's about a kidnapping of a adult woman, and most of the movie takes place 3 years after the kidnapping took place, where the boyfriend / husband of the woman is still looking for her, and it's awesome. I really liked it.
The Vanishing.
The Vanishing, yeah.
Okay.
And it's not gory at all. It's not scary at all. It's just interesting. And it had me the whole time. The pacing was good. The acting was good. You don't necessarily know where it's going the whole time.
Okay.
And you get to see it from the kidnapper's point of view and the husband's point of view.
Huh.
And that makes it ultimately just fucked up.
Okay.
But
Cool.
For its
like
time, for 1988, I'll say bravo.
I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
French cinema, I feel like, is like we're doing like all this dark, gritty, like realism type of stuff now in like American cinema and series, and I feel like the French have been doing that for decades, and we're just catching up with them.
It's because everyone starts smoking when they're 5.
And drinking wine at the same
Yeah,
time.
that's probably why.
Yeah.
They're all nihilist by the time they're 12.
Yeah.
All right, let's throw it to bad credit names.
Sure.
Wait a minute.
1 second. Sorry, technical difficulties here. Bad credit names, you say.
Jeff, this is my friend John.
Well, Jeff, I heard a lot of good things about you.
Where'd you find this son of a bitch?
He's a friend of mine from school.
A friend?
Jeff, John.
Oh, Jeff,
John. Jeff, how can you act
Jeff,
like
oh,
that?
Jeff.
Jeff.
Shut up!
Jeff, John.
Bad credit names.
Hey, what we got?
Grant Hill. He's a basketball player, but
All
apparently he's also like some low-level producer or something. Bronco McLaughlin.
Oh,
Bronco.
Yeah.
Bronco McLaughlin. That's like a 1980s like buddy cop drama series. Like, ugh.
Hey, here comes Bronco. Jimmy Skaggs.
Skaggs is an unfortunate name.
Yeah, I think we've had Jimmy Skaggs on the pod before.
Mm-hmm.
Kooky Lopez Romero.
Okay.
I got 3 more. Norman Thurtle.
Okay.
Polly Hootkins.
Ew. All right.
And Dickie Beer.
Oh, Dickie Beer.
Dickie Beer.
Yeah. I love Dickie Beer. All right, let's send it to offensive minigame.
Sure.
If you can say,
My mother was Korean,
and also,
and my father was Black American.
you may be part of our offensive minigame.
All right.
Scummy Santa or homophobic horror?
Homophobic whore.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Sneaking subtle Drusilla sniffs.
Yeah.
Or poking posteriors.
Sniffs.
Yeah, the sniffs are more offensive.
Because I say like if you're like swinging around and like swinging swords, like someone's bound to get stabbed in the butt.
That's true.
It comes with the territory, but like I don't know, like leaning over somebody and like just it's kind of weird.
Okay. Patting puppies or piercing penis?
Piercing penis.
Piercing penis.
This ain't your ordinary Jacob's ladder here.
Yeah.
All right. We've got our answer for the offensive minigame. Let's throw it to the movie comparison.
Sure.
Oh my God!
It's time to compare the movies. Something we haven't done since.
Oh my God!
1962.
Oh my God!
1962.
Oh my God!
Hey, yeah.
Christmas Story 2 or Cutthroat Island. Negative 70.4 and worst for worst of its kind for Christmas Story 2 or negative 32.4 and worst for Cutthroat Island. The answer is obvious. That is Christmas Story 2. Bob, a 5-star, a team 5-star for Cutthroat Island. I think it's a wash. Yeah.
Well.
Cutthroat Island is more offensive, so going into dialogue, we are at 1-1. What dialogue is worse? I'm going to have to go Christmas Story 2, I think.
Christmas Story 2.
Low budget, but not, or nepotism. What's worse production?
Shit.
I'm going to go low budget or not, because nepotism isn't always necessarily, but Nicolas Cage is a product of nepotism. Nepotism gets you work, it doesn't keep you your jobs. And I think in some cases, actors or people that have connections can prove themselves and go on their own thing. So, like, I don't necessarily always condemn nepotism.
Nicolas Cage was a product of nepotism in a lower budget category. This is a $90 million movie.
Okay, that's a very valid point.
Let's put her in this as a lead and carry this goddamn blockbuster of a movie and see if it works.
All right, in this case, I'm going to go with nepotism then. That's a good point.
Okay, love it. Acting, what's worse? Christmas Story 2.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. We have lip service as the demerit for Christmas Story 2. What do you guys want to put down for Cutthroat Island?
See, I thought it was bad fight scenes. Like
I also
choreography.
thought they were bad. Yeah, choreography.
Yeah, shitty choreography.
What's worse, lip service or bad choreography?
Bad choreography.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. Okay, so we have a tie. Would we rather go with Bob's 5-star or Team 5-star? I think since we all won, we
Here's the
go
thing.
Cutthroat Island.
I think a Team 5-star has more weight than a solo. I was gonna mention that before we start moving along, but yeah, if it came to it, the one that has more points would knock it out.
Oh my God, Cutthroat Island is the worst of the season.
All right, so
does that feel right?
If there was a gun to my head, and I would probably watch Christmas Story too because it's shorter. If there was a gun in my head and I had to pick one.
Okay.
Because there's no other.
There it is.
There's no other real merit. I could at least like mute that one and like pretend it's the other Christmas Story or something, you know.
True.
Also, I could find more demerit in Cutthroat Island than I can in Christmas Story 2.
I agree. Okay, so worst of the season, Cutthroat Island. Next week, we're watching Morbius, the Sony Marvel style product. It is apparently atrocious. Why don't you read that email there, Rob?
Oh yeah, so we if you could always email us at www.theworstmovieevermade.com, and this will be our plug for the show, and we can send it over to Bob's last word after this.
Yep.
But so basically, if you go to the www.theworstmovieevermade.com, you'll find our Spotify, Google, Apple, all that. You'll find us on Instagram, where we hold polls every week to pick the next movie, or in this case, you could email us, and if you email us a list of movies or just one movie that you really want us to consider, we'll consider it. And in this case, we are. So Jacob Ketchum emailed us saying, subject line, low budget movies can be great. It's no excuse for a bad movie. And then the body of the email says, haven't you guys heard of Robert Rodriguez or Kevin Smith? Tell me you have seen El Mariachi and Clerks. El Mariachi is an amazing action movie, especially if you consider it was made for $8,000. So we're going to have to circle back to that at some point, I think. You want to see a bad big budget movie, check out Morbius. Love your pod. And you guys all have good faces for audio, which that's fair.
Hey, somebody made fun of us at least.
Yeah. So if you email us like Jacob Ketchum, which sounds like a Pokemon character, because in the main guy Ash Ketchum or something like that.
Yeah.
So if you email us like Jacob, we will throw your movie on the poll, or just go ahead and do it. In this case, we're just going to go ahead and do Morbius. It's fitting because I just finished plowing myself through the MCU against my will for the sake of everybody's entertainment, and I thought I was dumb, but though this is not an MCU film, it's a licensed Marvel film for Sony.
Disney. Yeah.
And it means I have to watch another pile of shit that I don't want to ever watch. So those are always entertaining episodes because I'm going into it with apprehension, and that's just how it goes.
It's perfect. Bob?
Yes. Oh, yeah. So, Bob.
My last word, Rob knows my last word.
Yeah, here we go.
I love this. I love this.
Anywho.
That wasn't it, but I'll take it.
Do the other one.
I was trying to alternate them. I thought like they were in the same vein. So here we go. Here's Bob's last word.
Perfect. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We love you.
I have so many edits to make with those fucking clips. Anywho, we'll see you guys next week. This is The Worst Movie Ever Made. www.theworstmovieevermade.com. Thank you for listening, everybody. Chris has to piss, so we're signing off. See you guys.
Bye, Jelly School. I'm trapped.